The Changing Tides of Love, a folktale of Nigerian marriage traditions, the village of Eziama and its marriage customs. Eziama's way of life, nestled between rolling green hills and flowing rivers, was the village of Eziama. Its land was rich with palm trees and fertile soil, and its air was filled with laughter, music, and the steady beat of drums that echoed through the forest and mountains. Here, life followed a rhythm as steady and unchanging as the river itself, rooted in tradition and in the teachings of the ancestors. Marriage in Eziama was not just the union of two souls, it was the binding of two families, a ceremony blessed by ancestors and witnessed by the entire village. Marriages were grand affairs, intricately woven with the customs that defined Eziama's way of life. These customs were sacred, passed down from generation to generation. Elders often reminded the young, marriage is the thread that weaves the fabric of our lives. In this village, every child knew they would one day partake in this tradition, and every parent awaited the day they could witness their child's union, seeing their lineage grow stronger. Elders, respected and wise, held the knowledge of these customs and carried them like a torch, lighting the path for the next generation. Marriage ceremony. Obi was a young man in Eziama, known for his kindness and strong spirit. He had fallen in love with Ada, a woman of grace and wisdom. When he decided it was time to ask for her hand, he knew that this journey was not his alone. His family gathered around him, and together they prepared gifts of yam, kola nuts, and a woven cloth, the symbols of his intentions and respect. The elders led Obi and his family to Ada's home, where Ada's parents waited, their expressions calm but watchful. Obi's family presented their gifts, and the elders began the kuuche, the formal request for Ada's hand. This ceremony was a series of negotiations, carried out with respect and honor. Ada's family listened carefully, each offer and request symbolic of the union's strength. At last, after thoughtful exchanges, the families agreed on the terms. When the day of the wedding came, the entire village joined in celebration. Colorful attire brightened the ceremony, and villagers danced to the music of drums and flutes, celebrating the couple's union. The air was filled with laughter and song as villagers from all walks of life gathered to bless the newlyweds. It was a marriage rooted in heritage, binding not just Obi and Ada but both their families and the community around them. Winds of change arrive in Eziama, rumors of modern ideas. As the years passed, new voices began to join the conversations in Eziama. Young villagers who had traveled to nearby towns or even far-off cities returned with tales of a world beyond the village's rivers. Some had seen towering buildings, others had walked streets lit with bright electric lights, and many brought back ideas that seemed foreign yet intriguing. Among these travelers was Chiamaka, a young woman of fierce curiosity and an open mind. She had studied in the city, and with her education came a new way of seeing the world. When she returned to Eziama, she noticed how the winds of change had already begun to ripple through her village, carried by those who, like her, had glimpsed a world where love could be chosen freely, where people shaped their own paths. As she listened to her parents and the elders discuss the importance of arranged marriages and family unity, she found herself questioning. Could love not be personal? She wondered. Could a marriage be both traditional and modern? These thoughts stirred her soul, but she knew they might not sit easily with her family or her community. Chiamaka's vision of love. Chiamaka's path crossed with Uchenna's one evening under the light of a harvest moon. Uchenna was thoughtful and grounded, a man with deep respect for tradition yet a curiosity about the world beyond. Their bond was undeniable, a connection that bloomed over shared laughter and deep conversations under starlit skies. Chiamaka and Uchenna dreamed of a life together, but she knew her family had expectations. Her parents hoped she would follow the path laid out by her ancestors, complete with negotiations, rituals, and a large wedding. Chiamaka, however, envisioned something different, an intimate ceremony, one that would reflect her personal choice, yet honor her roots. And so, the first stirrings of conflict began. Chiamaka and Uchenna's journey, conflict and family reactions. When Chiamaka revealed her hopes for a different kind of marriage, her family reacted with concern. Her father, a proud man who had never strayed from tradition, was especially troubled. "Our ancestors have shown us the way," he told her, his voice heavy with the weight of generations. "To abandon these customs is to risk our blessings." Chiamaka's mother, though gentler, also held her reservations. She reminded Chiamaka that a marriage was more than a personal union, it was a pact between families and communities, an affirmation of shared values. "Our ways keep us together," she explained, hoping her daughter would understand the importance of tradition. Uchenna, too, felt the pressure from his family. His parents advised him to consider how a non-traditional marriage might be viewed by the village. "Marriage is the backbone of our culture," his mother warned. "If we lose our ways, we lose ourselves." Despite their family's concerns, Chiamaka and Uchenna's love remained steady. They began meeting with the village elders, hoping to find a way to blend their vision with the traditions they cherished. Slowly, with patience and understanding, they worked toward a compromise and hybrid ceremony. After months of careful discussions, the families agreed to a marriage ceremony that honored both tradition and Chiamaka and Uchenna's personal wishes. The wedding day arrived, and it was a celebration unlike any Eziama had seen. Chiamaka wore traditional attire adorned with intricate beadwork, while Uchenna wore the robes of his ancestors, proud and respectful. The ceremony began with the familiar customs, the presentation of gifts, the blessing of elders, and the symbolic pouring of palm wine. Yet, there were moments shared only between Chiamaka and Uchenna, a quieter, more intimate vow they exchanged in a secluded part of the riverbank. This blend of old and new created a ceremony that left the villagers in awe. It was as if the very soul of Eziama had stretched to embrace something both ancient and new. A new generation and lasting legacy, village acceptance and transformation. In the days that followed, Chiamaka and Uchenna's marriage became the talk of Eziama. Many elders, once skeptical, saw in their union a promise that tradition could adapt without being lost. Soon, other couples began to follow their example, creating marriages that blended old and new in their own ways. Families found comfort in knowing they could still honor their heritage while embracing the world's changes. The youth of Eziama began to see marriage not as a strict ritual to follow but as a shared journey, one that could be shaped by both love and tradition, wisdom from the elders. As the years passed, the elders of Eziama spoke of Chiamaka and Uchenna's marriage with pride. "Our customs are like the roots of a great tree," they would say, "but the branches must reach for the sun." They encouraged future generations to respect their heritage while remaining open to new ways of love and unity. Chiamaka and Uchenna became respected voices within the village, guiding other couples in navigating the balance between personal choice and cultural tradition. They had shown that love could be timeless, woven from the wisdom of the past and the dreams of the future. The legacy of love. Years later, Chiamaka and Uchenna's children grew up in a village that honored its customs yet welcomed change. They heard stories of how their parents had blended tradition with modern values and felt proud to be a part of a family that reflected both the strength of their heritage and the spirit of a new age. As the sun set over Eziama, the village elders sat together, watching as young couples walked hand in hand through the paths of their ancestors, knowing that their love, like the river's currents, would carry them forward. The story of Chiamaka and Uchenna reminded them that love, no matter how it may change, remains a force that binds all souls across time. In the end, the changing tides of love teaches that tradition and progress need not be at odds. The village of Eziama, like many places in Nigeria, learned that love, when true, can honor both the past and the dreams of the future. And so, Chiamaka and Uchenna's legacy continued.